Everyone is buying the Libernovo Omni chair, but there are some reasons you might want to pause before jumping on the hype. With more than $8 million raised on Kickstarter, this isn't your average office chair launch. But the real question is, will it live up to the hype? After testing hundreds of chairs, I know what truly makes an S-tier chair, and the kinds of problems that can turn into real deal breakers. I've been spending 8+ hours in the Omni for the past couple months, and by the end of this video, I'll tell you whether you should wait, buy now, or move on from the Omni. Plus, I'll let you know if I'd spend my own money on it. Let's start with the biggest concern I've seen people talking about, and one that I'm personally uneasy about: Kickstarter. Kickstarter is a crowdfunding platform where you pledge money to help bring a product to life, so it's far from the same as ordering from Amazon. In fact, Kickstarter's own terms and conditions spell this out. When you back a project, you're not buying something, you're helping to create something new. That means no guaranteed delivery, no guaranteed refunds, and no safety net if things go wrong. History shows that Kickstarter can go in two very different directions. One of the most famous failures was the Coolest Cooler, which raised over $13 million but left thousands of backers empty-handed. But there have also been some big wins. The Oculus Rift raised $2.5 million, delivered to its backers, and was later sold to Facebook for $2 billion. So when people see the Omni on Kickstarter, the red flags make sense. If the chair is already available in China, why sell it on a platform where even Kickstarter warns there is a chance it may never be delivered? And why buy through Kickstarter at all? Is it just for the advertised 27% off? I saw someone on YouTube saying cool chair but total PIA to get. No US presence, gimmicky funding scheme. I'll wait until I can buy from a reputable dealer. And honestly, that is hard to argue with. But here's the update. Libernovo is no longer just on Kickstarter. They're now selling directly from their website at $10.99. Buying direct gets you free 3-day shipping from a US warehouse, PayPal checkout, a 30-day risk-free trial, and the same 5-year warranty. So that really changes the equation. If you can wait for the next restock, buying through their website feels like a safer play. If you want to see how the Libernovo matches up against all its competition, check out our office chair comfort guide, where we rank all of the most popular office chairs. The link is in the description. Now let's talk about another concern with the Omni. This is an office chair with a battery. A Reddit user summed it up perfectly. If the company goes belly up after release and the battery dies, your chair is bricked. In reality, on the Omni, the battery only powers one feature, the motorized lumbar piston. This is what Libernovo calls the Omni stretch. Everything else on the chair works normally without it. But since this feature is such a big part of what makes the Omni unique, it's a bit scary thinking that it's completely dependent on that battery. When the battery dies, the lumbar locks wherever it's at. This actually happened to me while writing this script. The piston froze fully extended to my back. So I had to stop, give it a quick charge just to back off the lumbar. That's not just an annoyance, it can actually force you out of the chair until you deal with it. The larger fear is a completely dead, non-charging battery after your warranty has expired. The Omni offers a 5-year overall warranty, but only 2 years on the electric components. Now compare that to Herman Miller, Steelcase, and Hayworth. They carry 12 years of coverage. Libernovo's warranty ends years earlier, leaving you unprotected right when your electronics are most likely to fail. High-end chairs from these other brands use mechanical lumbar systems with nothing to charge. This allows them to confidently back up those chairs with decade-plus warranties. With such a short electronics warranty and an unproven brand, this is a top issue you need to consider before buying. One solution I would suggest is to purchase an extra battery for $40 when you purchase your chair. Or should I say, back the project. Next up is build quality. This is where I get to talk a little more about my own personal experience with the chair. When we first got the Omni in the studio for testing, I was blown away by the comfort. The seat cushion has a multi-density makeup, firm in the back and softer in the front. This really does distribute pressure evenly. On comfort alone, this chair rivals the Embody and Leap I mentioned earlier, chairs that retail at $1,400 and up. But after bringing the Omni home and spending 8+ hours a day sitting in it, I started to notice some of the little things. The arms have a bit of wobble. It's not enough to ruin the experience, but it's enough to make you question the long-term durability. Now the headrest feels fantastic when positioned correctly, but mine has a tendency to slip down on its own if I just bump the chair. Hearing from backers who have received their production models, it seems that this issue has been addressed. You'll also hear some creaks from plastic on plastic. But just a little secret, the Embody makes noise too. The good news is that comfort has been echoed by backers as well. One of the first reviews I saw matched what I had already said in my own testing. The seat and back are incredibly comfortable. Taking these concerns into consideration, this is where the lower price starts to make sense. At around $800 on Kickstarter, you can't expect the same rock-solid build quality as the $2,000 Embody. So maybe the Omni only lasts half as long. But since it's about half as expensive, that trade evens out. And here's the kicker, for those years, you might actually be more comfortable in the Omni. Now let's talk about fit, because this is one of the most important considerations for any chair. The Omni comes in 2 seat depth options, standard and extended. But here's the catch, there's no adjustment. So you need to pick one and then you're locked into it. So you need to be sure to get the right version up front. And it's a little odd how the process works. After pledging, you get a survey to pick your seat depth and your chair color. When we first got this chair in the studio, only the standard 45cm version was available. At my height at about 6'2", I could feel right away that a deeper seat would make a big difference. My comfort rating would jump even higher if I was sitting in the extended version. Another thing to note is that the chair does not go super low. That is probably why they bundled in the footrest for those shorter users. So here's what this means for you. If you are under 5'4", the chair may feel too tall, even at its lowest setting. If you are between 5'5" and 6 foot, the standard seat fits the best. If you are over 6 foot, I recommend the extended seat depth version. These fit issues do not make the Omni a bad chair. Every chair has some restrictions. But with the Omni, you're making a permanent choice when you pick that seat depth. That also makes it a little less convenient in a shared workspace where one person is tall and another might be shorter. But if you pick the right size, you may have one of the most comfortable chairs you've ever owned. Trust is the last thing I want to touch on. Libernovo is a brand new company based in Hong Kong with no US dealer network or service centers. Now that people are actually receiving their chairs, the trust level rises for me. Seeing backers post photos and share their first impressions give me confidence that Libernovo can be trusted to deliver on what they promised. I did get a kick out of reading some of the early first impressions on Reddit. They sounded almost identical to what I had said in my earlier review. So maybe us YouTubers aren't just making this stuff up. So while the company still has a lot to prove when it comes to service and long-term durability, the fact that chairs are arriving goes a long way to instill confidence. And again, my trust level goes another step up when ordering from their website with PayPal's buyer protections rather than on Kickstarter. So should you buy the Libernovo Omni now, never, or wait? If these concerns don't bother you, buying at Kickstarter's lower price makes sense. On the other hand, you can wait for Libernovo to have the chair back in stock and purchase at full retail. This gives you a 30-day trial and PayPal's buyer protections. If none of these trade-offs sound worth it, then maybe this chair is just not for you. When it really comes down to it, the Omni is still a chair I'd spend my own money on today.